around his way.
And what the hell are you doing?
I asked him to plug it in over there, and apparently it was too much for him to resist to play with the fucking cord.
It's not going to reach, Everett.
I know it's not.
Were you going to get in his lap?
No, I'm not going to get in his damn lap.
That's it.
I'm letting him phone my damn charge my
We
phone.
can do the show that way.
I got what I'm talking about wrote
smell
down.
each other a little.
You wrap your arms tenderly around his waist while he talks, and
Yeah.
they'll trade places.
Yeah.
Whoever sits in the lap gets to talk. That's the one.
We'll get some views in.
Escape the norm.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Escape the Norm, your escape from the real world and pathway into all forms of entertainment. I'm Josh Wright, here with Joe Shabazz, Everett Brewer, and Deidre Evans. I'm going to do a public service announcement. If you are a wasp and you are living in my room, you are going to die. You may not die right away. It might take a while. You may develop connections to other wasps and friendships and build a family and a home and plan for the future. None of that is going to matter because you are going to feel the bottom of my shoe against your skull. You're going to die. And I never made that more clear than today when I killed one wasp and then found the entire nest of wasps where they've been hiding out the whole time. I keep wondering why every few days one single wasp is flying around my room that I then have to Spider-Man my way around the room because you sneak up to kill them and then they jet around and they jet behind you, and I've had to learn all kinds of aerobics to fight these wasps. And they keep coming back, they're not getting the message, and finally I found the nest. I found the comb, or whatever it looks like a comb, it's the only thing I know to describe it. There was 6 or 7 of them, and they were going in and out of their little cubby holes, and they were trying to screw, and they were getting around each other. I don't know what all they were doing. So I, being the wasp terminator that I am,
The wasp whisperer.
I got an empty candle jar, 2 very, very thick gloves. I clothed myself entirely and made sure that there was no way they could get at me. And in a moment of pure adrenaline, took this entire little wasp nest filled with live wasps, and I quickly encapsulated them in this empty candle jar. It's the most exciting thing that's ever happened in my entire life. And now all of those wasps are in a river that I dropped the jar into. And they could be dead, they could be alive, they could have got free. I don't really know. The point is, my room is where I live. It's where a human being lives. If they want to make nests out in the world and can do whatever they want to do and sting people and whatever, that's fine. But if you're trying to build a home in my room, eventually, wasp, I will come and find you, and you will die.
Or they'll find you first and sting you.
Yeah, but I'm going to be alive after they sting me. And I'm going to be more pissed off. At which point, I may just pull their wings off and spend weeks torturing them. Because I do not want to live with wasps.
You realize that winter is like a month or 2 away, right?
Winter is coming.
And they're all going to die anyway.
Yeah, but I'm not waiting for winter. That's not the point.
I know it's
they
not the
thought
point.
they could make a home in my
But
room.
you're talking to them like they're going to be
now.
alive in 2. They're going to be dead in 2 months anyway.
Well, now they're dead because they're little.
Oh, did you see them die?
They had to have either drowned or run out of air in that jar.
You mean in the jar that easily could have floated in the water?
They could float. It doesn't matter. They can't get out. What are they going to team up together?
Did you seal the jar before you threw it in?
Yes, I sealed it. I closed it. It's a candle jar.
So you just trapped them in there where there's no way out.
Yeah.
And threw them in a creek.
Yeah.
Yeah. They deserve it.
Yeah.
I know they. I'm not saying they don't deserve it. I'm saying that they're, like deer or shit.
Don't
animals.
defend the
I'm not trying to
wasp.
defend them. I'm just saying they're
You
dead
and your
in 2
liberal agenda.
months.
You and your liberal
2
agenda
months,
trying to
they're dead.
defend the wasp.
In 2 months, they're dead. It doesn't matter.
What are you, one of these freaky, to save the wasp people?
Put them in a room alone
These
with
same
something that
assholes
gets
who are
hurt.
trying to save tigers? They're tigers. They don't need our help.
I would also like to preference this and say that he is not talking about white Anglo-Saxon Protestants. Just wanted to let that know.
There's a nest in his room.
You said that. I
Yeah.
didn't. If any of those people think they can live in my room,
They're going to end up in a jar.
They're going to end up in a jar in the river, just like the other wasps did.
I think
I was just picturing the whole. I was just picturing that whole thing, like a group of people just living in your room,
And then catching them all in the candle jar. Those
Well,
people
they're
would
just-
never live in my room. My
Oh,
room's
yeah,
not nice
whatever.
enough for that. All right. What else is going on?
Well, since we're still in the intro stage, you can do the announcement about being spoiler friendly.
Yeah,
At the
that's
beginning
true.
this time?
Yeah, okay. At the beginning this time. Thank you, Deidre. Podcast is uncensored and spoiler friendly.
as you just now heard.
As you obviously just heard. And if
Yeah.
any wasp are listening, and
If any wasp is
and your
listening,
hand-
I don't want to
and
meet
your
that
family.
wasp. It's already smarter than the average human.
They're not smart. They're very dumb because they're in the river right now, and I'm not.
They were smart enough to hide from you for months.
And now they're in the river. So there you go. I'm gonna find a little Anne Frank diary in there. The last days.
Oh,
Labor Day weekend, guys. There's not a lot going on.
It's
No.
like what? Too soon on the whole Anne Frank thing.
too soon.
Too soon.
I'm pretty sure that happened like 70 years ago.
I know. That's what people were like.
You said 70 years ago.
Yes.
Okay. I
Sounded
thought
like
you
seven.
said 7.
Yeah.
like
It sounded like that.
7 years ago. She had
seven-
cell phone 7 years ago. She could have just called her out.
Yeah.
So, now that's out of the way and all the wasps have been warned. This week we got a lot of cool stuff to talk about. Not really. It was Labor Day weekend, so the
Not a
news
lot
is-
happened.
Not a lot happened, but there's some interesting things going on in the world of entertainments, and we're going to get to all of that. Does anyone else have any warnings they'd like to get out now that I've warned the wasp?
No.
No.
I think.
No, you
that-
know what you
warning.
should have done? You should have like cut their heads off and just put them on like little pikes as warnings to other wasps.
I don't have any toothpicks.
So you want him to go all Vlad the Impaler on him? Is what? you
Why not? Nail a crown with
Well, those are some ideas, and if you're a wasp and you're listening, those are some things you have to look forward to in my room.
In the ring of King Josh, in the kingdom of Josh.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't belong there, so stay the hell out. You're not paying the electricity or the expensive cable internet bill. Stay the hell out. Now, that being said, let's move on to the show. Joseph has some very entertaining video game and comic book news, and he's going to get to that right now.
Gaming and comics.
At some point in time.
Right.
There we go.
Did we get it this time?
We did.
Are we sure?
Look at those peaks.
Yeah.
and
Look
troughs.
at those peaks that we didn't have the last time.
Anyway, hey guys, Joe here with the video game and comics news. Sony has announced today that the PlayStation 4 Pro console has just they just announced it today, which those of you who are unaware, it's basically just a souped up version of the PlayStation 4. And also announced today that you, lucky viewer, can pre-order it at Amazon and GameStop for the tune of $400, as announced at the PlayStation meeting briefing today. The console itself goes on sale on November 10th, so you got a little time to save up. So you may be asking, what does the PlayStation Pro, how is it any different from the PlayStation 4? Well, it's not really, as according to this article here in Newsarama, or actually GameSpot, I'm sorry. The PS4 Pro will not replace the existing PS4, but will live alongside it. Some sort of like creepy hybrid community. It will have a 1 terabyte hard drive, a double graphics output, so double GPU, These all according to the system architect Mark Cherney, these will allow the PS4 to reach solutions not thought possible on consoles in 2016. And on top of that, it also boosts a CPU clock speed boost. However, the PS4 Pro will not have a 4K Blu-ray drive. I don't know if that's really an issue. I don't know how many people are watching 4K Blu-rays on their PlayStation 4s. But, anyway, they also announced today that the rumored PS4 Slim will be going on sale next week for $300. And additionally, all firmware updates dating back to launch models of the PlayStation 4 will unlock HDR support, which I am assuming is high def resolution. Don't quote me on that, but that's just what I believe that acronym stands for. Also, in PlayStation news, Sony has announced that the PlayStation VR headset will include a free demo disc when it launches on October 13th. In total, there will be 8 games to sample, which Sony says will provide the perfect introduction to your new virtual reality world. I don't know how. If it's not Sword Art Online, I'm pretty much not interested. But, all right. So the games on this demo disc were provided by the PlayStation blog. Now this is just for the European version. So the American version may differ, though honestly,
in America, you're shit out of luck.
Well, I'm just gonna say there's gonna be a lot of copy and pasting. All right, so the first game on this demo will be Drive Club VR. Its description is: feel the speed of high octane racing as you in an entirely new way. You've never seen Drive Club like this before, which, if you've seen one driving game, you've seen them all.
Incidentally, I've never seen Drive Club, so
yeah.
Technically true.
Yes. PlayStation VR Worlds. In this demo, you get to make a splash in the perilous waters of ocean descent. It is one of 5 PlayStation VR experiences available in the full game. So that's kind of really neat. I've always wanted to explore the depths of the ocean blue. Next, we have Riggs Mechanized Combat League. You will master some of the most sophisticated and athletic fighting machinery ever created. So, and that it looked really interesting, kind of in the vein of Chrome Hound, but not as open world. No, it was a sandbox, but anyway. Tumble VR, which is a new dimension in puzzle. Basically, it's just a puzzle stacking game. You're just stacking bricks on top of each other. That looked kind of kiddie. Battle Zone. You get to experience tomorrow's battlefield today. And no, before you start fanboying, no, it's not the Battlefield 1 beta. And you will be in the cockpit of a powerful Cobra tank, and you will demolish all that trundles in your path. As according to which probably means you'll run into something and your tank will explode, because video games, for whatever reason, can't do tanks very well, unless you're in World of Tanks. Eve Valkyrie. You'll take to the stars and blast your way through swarms of fighters, so basically it's just a space fighter. Wayward Sky, which is another flight simulator, except you'll be in a biplane. So, there's that. And finally, you'll have Headmaster. Yeah, I had to chuckle a little. You'll have... Basically, it's just a soccer... It's a soccer simulator with a twist, as the description says. You'll have to kick them around with your head. So basically, you're just headbutting balls. Yeah, I cannot get... can't get over that. The contents of the PlayStation, again, this is for the PlayStation Europe. and it's not really confirmed what we'll get with the North American release, but the odds are it'll probably be about the same. PlayStation VR will launch on October 13th and will require a PlayStation 4 as well as a PlayStation camera. The headset on its own is $400, but you can purchase it in a bundle that comes with the headset, 2 PlayStation Move controllers, a PlayStation camera, and the PlayStation Worlds game for $500. And lastly, in video game news, we're going to talk about Telltale Batman. The Telltale Games has announced today the release date for the second chapter of its Batman episodic series, Episode 2, titled Children of Arkham, which will arrive on September 20th for PC, Xbox One, and PS4. Telltale Batman is very awesome. Josh and I have been playing it. Have you?
What?
You haven't played it?
No.
No. Yeah, it's which is really good fun. I'm enjoying the story and just being Batman and just being as brutal as humanly possible to thugs. And finally, in comic news, which there wasn't much of, I just wanted to glance over a couple things. First up, Cyborg's getting his own Rebirth title. It's coming out today, and Cyborg #1 Rebirth, and which basically is not going to so much focus on a superhero aspect, though it is, going to do that a little bit, but it's focusing more on Cyborg as a person / cyborg. Cyborg was one of my favorite characters on the Teen Titans show back in the day, and I'm a huge Teen Titans fan ever since the TV show back in the day. And I guess that brings me to my last piece of news, which is Teen Titans #6, where we are they're hinting at a new member for the group. This Teen Titans group is led by Damian Wayne, Robin, and features Starfire, Raven, Beast Boy, and now Kid Flash. So it's New 52 Kid Flash, Wally West, and it really seems to be kind of interesting because you have all these more experienced teen heroes as opposed to Wally West, who's just starting out his superhero gig. So with that, let's all discuss.
Okay. My first question is,
yes,
what is the difference between, what is the point of a driving VR game? Because every driving game is from the point of view of either you're behind the car third person or you're in the car. Every driving game has a button you can press.
I know, right?
Why would you need, if you have a big enough TV, why would you ever need a VR helmet to play a driving game? You're already in the point of view.
It's not about need. Well, VR is all excessive, really. But, being able to look out your side window and see a car passing you.
But you can do that in, console games. You can do that in real life.
But I know, let's talk about excessive. A soccer game? There's no way to play with your feet?
Yeah,
you can experience what real-life soccer players feel like every time they take the field and just butt the ball with their head over and over and over again.
Yes.
They should have used a DDR pad.
I think that's called a concussion.
If you want to know what it's like to be a real-life soccer player, go outside and run for 4 hours and not accomplish anything. That's what it's like being a real-life soccer player.
You only score 1 point.
Or none at all.
Oh,
more likely.
That's very true.
More to the point. So you have to buy a PS4 and then a PSVR helmet.
Mm-hmm. And all that other shit that I mentioned.
And the controls for your hands.
The controls for your hands.
I thought the PSVR was a separate console. It's not.
The PS4 is a separate... Yeah. No, the PS4 is...
But I thought the PSVR was a separate console.
No, it is all attached to...
How much did you say the helmet was?
The helmet itself is $400, but you can get the bundle that has all that other shit with it for $500.
Wait, so the helmet's $400?
Mm-hmm.
You get the bundle with the PS4?
No, you get the bundle with all the stuff for the PlayStation VR thing.
I retract my previous statement about buying a PSVR.
Yeah.
I want to be Batman and Vader. That's great. But I'm not paying $400 for the PS4, another $400 for the helmet, and another, $100 for the other two controllers?
Yeah.
Kiss my ass. I am not, for
I'm
2
not paying,
seconds.
I'm not paying $1,000.
I'm not paying $1,000 for a $20 to play a $20 game.
Oh, yeah, I know.
That is ridiculous.
Yeah, I believe we talked about this before, like with other console releases, like how we're usually like, mostly it was Everett, but sometimes some of the times it was us. Whenever we first got like the 360 and the Xbox One, we were basically glorified beta testers for all this stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not paying $1,000 to be a glorified
That's
beta
why
tester.
I waited a year to get a one, because I didn't want to
Exactly.
get the first ones that were crappy and pay $9,000 for it. Okay, it made sense to me when the VR was its own separate console. When that's what I thought it was.
Mm-mm.
But you're saying you have to have a PS4,
Yep, you gotta have PS4.
and then pay $400 for the apparatus.
Yeah.
So that you can play soccer with your head.
Yes. And
do you have to hang upside down like Michael Keaton in Batman to really get the whole experience and use your hands as your feet?
No, actually, I think you're holding yourself steady, and then you're just like using because I think it also tracks there's a PlayStation camera.
Oh, you have to get the camera too. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so the camera's tracking kind of like how the Kinect works. It's tracking your body movement, and then so it's using that to try to move you around in the VR world.
So the camera can pick up your head movements just fine, but feet are too much.
They don't have controllers for feet.
No, but you were playing an arcade game at Dave & Buster's where you use your feet. I've played a different game at the same place using my feet. It's not like you can't make a control pad for that.
That's very true, and something I've wondered about this thing from the beginning.
I believe it was
because
DVR.
any game you see anyone playing the PSVR with, they have the helmet and they have the controllers in their hands, but their feet are just there.
Mm-hmm.
So what the hell are you doing? I mean, you're not kicking the soccer. You can't use hands in soccer. So, I mean...
Yes, you're using your head.
You're using your head.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
That's called whiplash.
I was about to say, that's not soccer. What is that? Not soccer.
That's volleyball. I mean, that's volleyball.
More or less.
Yeah. Handless volleyball.
It's FIFA's new volleyball game.
Ugh.
I mean, like...
so essentially...
It's essentially the holodeck from Next Generation if your feet were tied up the whole time. So you can hop in there. You can move stuff around with your hands and look around, but don't think you're going to interact with anything with your feet.
Nope.
Because you can't.
Mm-hmm.
Which wouldn't matter that much if it wasn't a soccer game.
Yeah, which I guess is why they moved on to one of the more obscure things in soccer, which is a headbutting the ball into the goal.
Starting to see why these games are $20.
Yeah.
Not really understanding why the console is $400. $800 if you don't already have a PS4.
Yeah. So, I mean, basically you're paying, when you really think about it, you're paying upwards to about $1,000 to have balls in your face.
To have balls in your face.
Well, if I've got a headbutting game, I'd much rather it be a Storm the Castle type game than soccer. I think it would be way more fun if you're like busting doors down with your head.
Yeah, the PlayStation VR, I mean, the concept is really cool. You know, I saw Batman VR. That looks awesome. All this other stuff looks really cool. And again, these are just demos, but at the same time, they're probably based on actual games that are going to come out. And I really don't... And they're probably going to come out at that $60 mark because it's Sony. Yeah, so
I mean,
at some point you're gonna pay $60 just to headbutt
I was really
stuff.
into the whole Batman. Like, I wouldn't mind buying it if it was its own console. I could see spending $400 on the console itself, but don't tell me I'd also have to get a PS4 on top of that.
Yeah,
that's insane.
Oh, I know. You'd have to take out a small loan to basically play video games.
It's insane.
And even then, like, yeah, like again,
you don't even know the game's gonna be any good.
Yeah. Exactly, and
Jeez. So for $1,000, you too could Give yourself whiplash like a car wreck.
I feel the same way about this. I feel about 3D movies. Get to a point where you can show me a 3D movie without the annoying glasses, and that's fine. All this middle of the road crap, just get to holograms already. Get to it. Hurry up, because this is all in between crap. It's pointless.
Oh,
because you're not really getting the full experience.
Yeah, as I said earlier, the only type of VR that I really want to play is Sword Art Online, without being trapped in the game and having to die in real life. But
sure.
Any other thoughts on any of the comics news? I know it's all kind of lackluster.
I think it's good that Cyborg is in Detroit because finally they'll have some working machinery there.
Oh!
I think that if Cyborg is in Detroit, then he might actually, if we're not talking about his superhero stuff and the comics about who he is, and he's in Detroit, it's a perfect opportunity for him to just totally recharge the U.S. auto industry. I mean, he could kick them into high gear. He's already there.
Yeah.
He can show them how it all works. He could start any car himself. He could replace an entire factory, which might in turn cause more problems to the local economy. That could be a whole storyline in and of itself.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So, I'm excited about that.
I'm really excited for Teen Titans, though. I've not read any of the new Teen Titans stuff. But I really want to check out.
Who do you think the new member is?
Oh, it's Kid Flash.
Oh, you said it was.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. The black guy. There's more than one black guy in the DC universe. In fact, Cyborg is black.
I said it was Wally West kid, the new black kid. So.
Oh, the new black kid.
The new black kid.
That's what it's.
Yes.
Okay. Right.
It's sad they can't bring back Static Shock though.
Why?
Tell me.
I don't know.
Why the hell would you? What? Huh?
No, I'm saying.
Point, you prove it.
No, he said. I said, it's saying they couldn't bring back Static Shock, but it looks like DC's not interested in bringing him back, as far as I can tell. Unless he does actually.
He's not in this new continuity.
I haven't seen anything yet, unless it's a later date.
Okay. It was always so weird that Static Shock was
even a hero,
even a thing. Well, the only reason is that they had it all in the same time that they had Batman Beyond and everything on Kids WB. Yeah. So they
did tie it to
tied him into it, and then DC Comics retroactively added him into their own continuity based on this show.
Yeah.
And it never made any damn sense. I never understood why they did it at all, but they took a crossover cartoon and then put Static Shock in the entire continuity.
Yeah.
For some reason. I don't know. So,
I did enjoy the show.
Yeah?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty neat. But then again, when you're like, 10, 12,
right.
everything's kind of,
Sure. I did think it was cool that he was in the Justice League in the future.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that was kind of cool, I guess. I don't know. I didn't think much of Static Shock. He has a coat.
He has a coat. He flies around
on a mask.
He flies around on a trash can lid.
He flies around on a trash can lid.
And
that he got from Oscar at Sesame Street.
Yeah.
And that's actually his villain on the show. And as far as anyone listening to this knows, that could be true. Because nobody knows anything about Static Shock.
Sports and wrestling.
Hello, this is Everett with your wrestling, some UFC news, and a whole shitload of NFL news. Let's start off with UFC. We've got UFC 203 come this weekend. Most people really don't care about the entire card. The one match everybody's talking about is CM Punk versus Mickey Gall. This is Punk's first UFC fight. Well, not his first, but it's his first official televised UFC fight. He's finally fighting after he's had some well-documented injuries he needs to recover from his time in wrestling. But now he's ready to give a go. It's the number 3 match on the card. There's 2 heavyweight matches ahead of it, and some other matches before it, but I really don't care about those. I'm worried about that one. So let's move on to some wrestling news this weekend. SmackDown has its first pay-per-view for its own brand, Backlash. We have the pre-show match, the Usos versus the Hype Brothers. The winner of that match will go on for the Tag Team SmackDown Championship match later that night to take on Heath Slater and Rhino. who I just sort of hope wins, because Heath Slater entertains me like no other right now. It's like also for the WWE Championship, we got Dean Ambrose versus AJ Styles. Intercontinental Championship, Dolph Ziggler versus The Miz. We have the Women's SmackDown title, which is a 6-pack elimination match. We have Becky versus Carmella versus Naomi versus Natalya versus Nikki versus Alexa Bliss. Yep, all 6 of them in there at the same time. What could possibly go wrong? And another match we have on this card, Bray Wyatt versus Randy Orton. That's right, the same Randy Orton who you saw a few weeks ago get his head beat in will now probably take his sister Abigail on his head. Who's booking that, I wonder? And also, starting tomorrow night, Thursday, we have the start of the official NFL season. I know some people was like, hey, preseason started, and it did. But preseason doesn't count, and no one cares. So, Thursday night, we have our first game of the season. It's Denver versus Carolina. And there's no bye weeks this week, so everybody plays. So that means we have such games to look forward to as Tampa Bay versus Atlanta, Minnesota versus Tennessee, Cleveland versus Philadelphia. Yep, that's happening. Cincinnati versus the Jets, which is probably going to be the best game of the 1 o'clock starts. Then we have San Diego versus Kansas City, Buffalo at Baltimore, Chicago at Houston, which will be Houston's starting quarterback is Brock Osweiler, who just got his Super Bowl ring from last year of the Denver Broncos winning it. We have Green Bay versus Jacksonville, way to step up some competition there. We've also got Miami at Seattle, the Giants at Dallas. Dallas will be starting another quarterback. It's not Tony Romo and Dak Prescott. He's done pretty good this preseason. And they'll also be starting a rookie running back in Ezekiel Elliott. So we'll see how this turns out for them. We got Detroit versus Indy. And also for the Sunday night game, probably the best game of the weekend, New England with Tom Brady out for the first 4 games, suffering his Deflategate suspension. I know what you're thinking. Wait a minute, Deflategate was 2 seasons ago. Why has he already suffered that suspension? Because he was fighting. But then they decided to give up because it didn't matter. Goodell won against the Arizona Cardinals. And Monday night, we've got 2 games, Pittsburgh versus Washington and Los Angeles. That's right, I said Los Angeles. You now have a team again. Congratulations. Taking on the San Francisco 49ers. So we'll go ahead and do a little bit of play real quick with the Backlash card. It's like I'll give you my predictions on who's going to win. It's like we'll go down the pre-show match real quick. I'm going to go ahead and give the Usos the win there over the Hype Bros, because it makes no sense for them to lose at this point in time after especially just turning heel on SmackDown. Let's see. I'm going to say probably Becky will win the SmackDown title for the women. I mean, they could give it to Nikki, but I'm going to say Becky will be the one to get it. I'm going to say Slater and Rhino will be the tag team champions just because, they're doing the whole story thing where if Heath Slater wins, he gets a contract. It's like, I'm going to say Bray Wyatt wins with interference from a returning Luke Harper. I'm going to say Miz probably beats Ziggler because Ziggler can't win a match these last few weeks for really anything. And I'm going to say AJ Styles will beat Ambrose so we can have a new face with that title. And with that, we'll open it up to what anybody else wants to talk about with anything we've got.
Punk didn't get injured. It wasn't wrestling injuries. He got injured sparring. He felt a bone pop when he was sparring, and that's what he put him back about 4 or 5 months. He was going to try to fight last year, and didn't fight last year because
of the injury.
As far as that goes, I just really want to see what happens. I really want to see what happens. It's an interesting thing, even if it wasn't CM Punk. It's interesting, the whole idea of a guy just taking 2 years to train to be a fighter in the MMA and then doing it. Like not having a background in not athletics, but not having a background in fighting at all, to just go in, learn from experts, and see if
he can do it.
These experts could turn him into an MMA fighter. Mickey Gall has one win. He won one fight in UFC and said he wanted to fight CM Punk. And
hasn't fought since.
Dana White made the phone call, and now they're fighting. And I don't know if it's going to be the main event or not.
It's not. It's already there.
But it's who's the main event?
I Wikipedia'd it. Hand me mine. They're the third match on the card as of right now. Got 2 heavyweight matches that are scheduled ahead of them. Or after them.
You mean the third match from the main event?
Yeah, third match from the top.
Okay. I don't know. I think it'd be interesting. I think even if he loses, he's going to fight again.
Yeah, the match card right now, as it's scheduled, this is the entire official fight card. Going all the way from the preliminary card on UFC fight thing. You got lightweight, Drew Dober versus Jason Gonzalez. Light heavyweight, CB Dalloway versus Franchimir Barrazo. Welterweight, Yancy Morelos versus Sean Spencer. Then the card on Fox Sports, their preliminary part of the card. Ian McCall versus Ray Borg. Sayo Magalis versus Brad Everest. That's a middleweight. Nick Wentz versus Michael McBride, lightweight. Women's bantamweight, Jessica I versus Beth Correia. And then the main card, it's 5 matches. It's the women's strawweight, Jessica Andrade versus Joanne Calderwood. Bantamweight, Audra Faber versus Rivera. Then it's the welterweight, Punk versus Gall. Heavyweight, Farico Werdum versus Travis Brown. And then it's a heavyweight championship match. It's McCulloch versus Overeem. Mm-hmm. So that's the main event.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I think if Punk loses, he'll probably fight one more time. If he loses that, he probably won't fight again.
I don't know if he'll fight again if he loses. It's going to be because there's a lot of pull for this pay-per-view to be coming on Punk's air, and it's his first fight. If he loses, it's like when
I think
it wasn't Bellator, but there was when God rest his poor soul, freaking Kimbo Slice was the main fighter of the one. They was on CBS. It was CBS. It was a big thing. He tripped over his own 2 feet, hit his head on the cage, and the dude who was a nobody beat his ass.
Wow.
The ref stopped it, and the company went bankrupt the next day.
Oh, dear God. Okay. Well, I don't think UFC's going bankrupt because they just got bought for $4 billion. So I don't think they're going bankrupt. I think if he puts in a respectable showing and he still loses, he'll fight again because he'll take what he learned from the fight and try to fight it one more time. If he wins, I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, if he wins, he'll definitely fight again. So we'll see.
We would probably see him fight again about UFC 206.
Yeah, 206, 207. And I don't know. I'm really curious to see what happens. I like Punk, and I've always liked Punk. So
yeah,
I'm curious to see how that goes. He might surprise us, or he might get his ass kicked, and that's what everybody's tuning in to see.
Well, with this being his first big match, he's going to be nervous. He'll come out in the first round probably slow and not really, and trying to, like we saw with Hunt versus Lesnar, where neither one really started out quick.
Well, we're definitely not going to get a Diaz-McGregor type fight. That's definitely not going to happen. Because Punk's not going to charge in there regardless. Yeah. But that might be part of his problem because they said that in the documentary. Part of his problem was he knew what to do. He was just not sure if he should do it. He was thinking too much. And he wasn't actually taking action or going on the offense. So it's going to be interesting to see. As far as Backlash goes, I don't know. This AJ Dean feud is not much of a feud, really.
Not really. Well, I mean, they've had about 2 or 3 weeks to build it.
Yeah.
Which is not a considerable amount of time.
Right.
Especially because they're trying to keep AJ hot right after his victory over Cena.
Yeah, they can't have AJ lose because he just beat Cena. But if they have Dean lose, I'm afraid Dean may never get the belt ever again.
Well, they have a way out of it. It's if Bray Wyatt wins, he comes out and does something in that match. He can attack either AJ or he can attack both of them.
Yeah. I think AJ might win just because he beat Cena. He beat Cena clean. He might win.
I mean, he'll pull a good match out of Dean, that's for sure. But
I worry about AJ continuing to make fun of Cena because I just know that might build up to another AJ Cena match where Cena wins.
Well,
that's usually what happens.
So it'll happen. You might as well go ahead.
But that's stupid. It completely undercuts. But that's what they always do. They give somebody.
They did it with Owens. They did it
with Owens, and you know.
It took him a year to finally get over that.
Yeah, and again. So I think AJ almost has to win. I don't know what you do with Dean after that. I guess they'll do a rematch. Who knows? But I'm not feeling the AJ Dean feud because it doesn't have any fire behind it whatsoever.
Not at all.
But you called it last week. You didn't even talk about Raw. You called it last week. Triple H was not on the show.
Yeah.
So they're going to let that simmer for a little while before they explain why Triple H.
I say we'll get more of an explanation before Night of Champions.
Clash of Champions.
Or Clash of Champions.
But,
and I have this fear that they're going to turn it into a person of that group of power in every corner, where Stephanie will end up being in Seth's corner, Triple H will be in Owens, Foley will be in Reigns.
Yeah. Well, that's disgusting, and I hope they don't do that. But, yeah. They get in this thing where they don't know what to do, so they just put guys in feuds, and then they put them in matches, and then they put them in just dumbass stories because they don't want to. On SmackDown, they said AJ and Dean are going to talk to each other before their match. They didn't have a reason for them to be out there.
It wasn't a contract signing.
It wasn't a contract signing. It was just, we don't know what to do. The match is in 5 days.
Yeah.
Let's just put them out there and let them talk to each other. And that's lame. That is lazy.
Ziggler, I don't even think had a match on SmackDown. It was just he was just out for commentary.
Yeah, he interfered in that Miz Apollo Creed match, and that was it.
Yeah.
Again, Dolph Ziggler feuding with Miz, two losers feuding with each other over who might be less of a loser slightly. That's exciting.
Miz is married to Maurice. He's a winner.
Well, no, he's a winner no matter. Well, he's a winner when he goes home. But we're talking about the context of the show and the stories, in which there are no freaking stories whatsoever.
There was very, very little build for Bray and Randy.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, unless you count Bray talking with the smoke monster, but
and then Randy had a parable of his own. It's Tuesday night parables on USA. Tune in, listen to grown men tell fairy tales to each other in smoky dark rooms.
The Usos.
Bray always finds the smokiest, darkest room in the arena and sets his rocking chair down. And just sits there and monologues. So it's a battle of the monologues this Sunday to see who's going to bore the other to sleep.
Bray really needs this win more than Randy does, but
Randy needs a win too. He just got the shit beat out of him.
Yeah, but to Lesnar, losing to Lesnar really doesn't hurt you as much as.
I disagree. He looked pretty hurt.
Well, I'm talking about storyline and image-wise.
Right. But he looked pretty hurt.
Yeah, he looked fairly hurt.
He was in a puddle of blood. Yes.
Then we have the tag team SmackDown Tag Team Championship.
Yeah, Alpha versus.
No, ain't American Alpha.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Why isn't it?
Because after that heel turn,
because Usos injured.
Usos injured. Yeah. So the Usos. That's the reason why them and the Hype Bros are in the pre-show.
Oh, match. It's the Usos versus the Hype Bros.
Yeah.
Well, gosh, I wonder who's going to win that one.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's the only reason I even mentioned the pre-show match.
So that's what they're doing. Yeah, Usos going to be heels. They're going to beat Slater and Rhino.
Well, no, they're thinking American Alpha is going to come out and cost them the match.
Right.
So that way Slater gets his contract.
Yeah, that can make sense. That would make everybody happy, I guess. That's fine. And the women's match, they're giving it to Nikki. They're not giving it to Becky.
I don't know. It'll be interesting. Because we just saw Nikki. I think Nikki and her feud.
Unless Eva Marie has a surprise. Comes back from suspension early.
No, I think Nikki and her feud with Carmella is going to keep them from the title for a little bit.
Okay. Well, yeah, that makes sense. So, yeah. Might be Becky.
Becky would be who I say, other than that, Natalya.
Well, they were definitely cheering for Becky more.
Yeah.
on
and
Tuesday.
it's not anything against Nikki. It's just
right.
She's just getting back, and they're feuding her with Carmella, trying to get Carmella a little bit more over, I guess.
Yeah. Did you see Sasha's thing on Monday night?
Yes, I did.
Oh man, that was fantastic.
The whole fake retirement thing needs to stop. You can either do it awesome like you did with Mark Henry, or you can just do it stupidly.
I thought it was awesome because I thought she was really retiring. I bought into it because anybody that saw that fall she took would think, yeah, I'd retire after that. I just landed on the back of my head. She already had injuries going into it.
I mean, but they already made bringing freaking Bailey up pointless at that point in time when they brought her back.
Yes, because once again, they just trigger happy. They look for any excuse to do what they want to do. Yeah. They wanted to put the belt on Charlotte in the first place. I don't think they really like how over Sasha is.
No, they really don't. They don't like how over anybody is other than Charlotte right now.
Yeah, so they just decided, hey, we'll just hotshot it back to Charlotte. And now they're going to hotshot it back to Sasha. Because they don't know what the hell they're doing.
Well, that's why I don't think it. Clash of Champions. I think we'll get some sort of women's tag team match instead of a women's title match with Bailey and Sasha.
Well, but Sasha just said that she was fighting that Clash of Champions.
Yeah, but just because you said it, they've got 3 weeks to make it up to something else.
I see. Well, yeah, I guess.
Like, you could have Sasha fighting next week. For example, you could have Sasha fighting Dana Brooke and have Charlotte interfere, then have Bailey come raining down.
Right. So, yeah. So, CM Punk may die this weekend, and then the next day, my interest in wrestling may die because that pay-per-view is not super exciting.
I mean, it looks like already between the two, Clash is already shaping up to be a better pay-per-view than Backlash.
Well,
but SmackDown will have a little bit more time to build to their next pay-per-view next time around.
Yeah, they didn't have a lot of time. And they've only got 2 hours every week as opposed to 3, so they're always going to have less time.
I mean, I'm already excited. I already want to see Owens versus Owens versus Rollins, because I know it'll be an actually good match.
Sure.
I don't want Roman Reigns involved.
Nobody wants
in any way, shape, or form.
I don't even know if Roman Reigns wants to be involved.
No, when Mick Foley came out and put that stipulation, no, bad Mick, bad.
Yeah, stop, Mick, stop it.
What the hell's wrong with you?
As far as the NFL goes, Peyton retired. I don't know that I care.
Well, there's only 3 week 1 matches that are almost good must see. When you've got you've got the freaking Denver versus Carolina, New England, Arizona, and then freaking Cincinnati versus the Jets. Those are probably your best 3 matches of the week.
Yeah. So that should be good. Who's Buffalo playing?
Buffalo is playing Baltimore.
Yeah. All right.
The Harbaugh brothers one of the Harbaugh brothers versus the 2 Ryan brothers.
Yeah.
Which I forgot I wasn't going to talk about this week. I was going to talk about next week, but apparently there were some criminals who were going to try to jump Roddy Ricch's brother's name, Bob Ryan.
They were going to jump him.
They were going to jump him and try to kidnap him.
To take his hair?
No, just to try to get money.
His hair is luxurious.
His hair for being how old as he is, his
hair is luxurious.
Yeah, that deserves to be.
They're going to kidnap him and interrogate him for his secrets. They don't know what kind of shampoo he's using. That hair is amazing.
And how Rex lost all that weight.
It's a mane. Rex lost all that weight because after every game he loses, he goes to the back and throws up. That's how Rex loses that weight.
It's like, I'll go ahead and mention you some NCAA football news.
Oh, God.
Alabama's still number 1. There you go. That's pretty much what you need.
That's not news. That's just a fact of life.
Yeah.
The whole tide.
Yeah.
Going back to the UFC thing, wasn't there supposed to be a fight between CM Punk and Jason David Frank?
No. Jason David Frank kept threatening it.
Yeah.
But Jason David Frank is not a UFC fighter, so...
Well, he is an MMA fighter. He's just not...
He is an MMA fighter,
he's not
a
UFC.
contract to UFC. If CM Punk wants to fight him, CM Punk's going to have to meet him outside of the command center.
Do you think Jason David Frank will do poses?
I hope he brings the flute, is what I hope.
Yeah. Coincidentally, with this UFC, it's the first UFC ever in Cleveland.
So
wow.
Yeah.
Cleveland already has guys fighting each other in cages every night.
Yeah, on every corner.
It's a disaster area.
So Punk will get all kinds of.
So LeBron James will be in.
LeBron James. He might be there. He probably will be there. They'll probably send him tickets. He'll be there. Off season.
Hell yeah. Okay, so now that we got all that settled, we'll pass it over to Eater Evans for animation and music.
Music and animation.
Hi, this is Deidre with musician, music, and animation news. I'm going to start with the story I'm picking up from last week where we talked about Chris Brown. He was arrested on suspicion of assault with a deadly weapon, and he says his accuser, Bailey Curran, fabricated the story. His lawyer said that no guns or drugs were found in his home at all. His lawyer is working to verify the text message he supposedly sent to her friend before it ever happened, where she said she was going to set him up because she got kicked out of his house for calling his friend's jewelry fake. So they got a whole text message about that. Her friend texted her back and said, "You better not do that. You'll be fucked up if you do." And then I guess she did it. Right now, there's no... the story's still developing. There's not necessarily an official story either way, even though he did honestly get arrested. So I guess it's kind of a he said, she said thing at the moment. Kind of hard to believe Chris Brown after his history, but we'll see if that develops into anything further. He's not the only hip-hop star with bad news. Drake and his DJ, Future, they originally thought it was Future the rapper, but it's a different dude called Future the Prince. His DJ, well, they share a tour bus that they're using in their current ongoing Summer 16 tour. They were on stage Tuesday night in downtown Phoenix when their tour bus got robbed. The robber got a briefcase full of jewelry that was estimated to be worth about $2 to $3 million and managed to get away unnoticed. So cops are reviewing the venue's security footage and trying to identify the suspects, but we don't have anything right now. So that's a major haul for whoever that was. It's not all bad news. Snoop Dogg is in the news now because he's making an appearance on MTV's new comedy Mary Plus Jane, which premiered September 5th. He also joined in as an EP, and he wrote and performed the theme song. I haven't got a chance to watch it yet, but I hope to soon. And if you're interested in Snoop Dogg or his business, then you might want to get involved too. Last thing on musician news, the former One Direction singer Zayn Malik has teamed up with Law & Order franchise boss Dick Wolf and his wife Noelle. They're making a drama called Boys, which follows a group of male singers on their rise to success and the behind-the-scenes pressure put on them by the music industry. The Beauty and the Beast writing team, Sherry Cooper Landsman and Jennifer Levin, will write the script as well as co-produce, and Zayn Malik himself is also going to be an executive producer. There's rumors that the producers are planning on making the fake boy band into a real music group that will release original songs from the show, but that's not confirmed yet, so we'll see if that happens once that comes out. On to actual musician news. Rita Ora went to the Vatican on Saturday to sing What Child Is This? Before Mother Teresa got canonized as a saint. Because Rita Ora shares Albanian heritage with her, she went and performed there. That's not the most interesting piece of news, but the fact that the Vatican was actually a venue for a modern singer is pretty interesting, so I had to mention that. Moving on, Lady Gaga has a new single called Perfect Illusion that will be released on Friday, September 9th. It'll be her first solo album material since Art Pop in 2013. Next, that's not the only news. Kanye confirmed a joint album with Drake. He's not released any details yet, but if you're interested in either one of them, and I like both, it'll be cool to see them work together. Last thing in music news, Maroon 5 rescheduled 7 concert dates because Adam Levine is preparing to have his first child. His wife, who's a Victoria's Secret model, is due September 20th, so the group will be taking a 2-week break from their tour. Starting September 19th, and will resume on October 3rd in St. Louis, Missouri. I'm sure the two of them are going to have a gorgeous baby because, well, look at them. Moving on to animation, there's not much news in this week. I was hoping to go see Kubo and the Two Strings, but it actually left my local theater before I had a chance to go. I heard it was Matthew McConaughey and George Takei, both doing voices in that, among others, but I haven't gotten to see it yet, so maybe I'll get a chance to. Unlike that show, I'll definitely be on top of the release of The Incredibles 2, which has been announced to be scheduled for release June 21st, 2019. They're keeping all the details under wraps about that as far as the plot goes, but they're trying to make a sequel that's honorary to the first, as far as trying not to go over the same information, but getting the same sort of feel from the show. They said it's a challenge because they have a new environment for superheroes that wasn't really the case 12 years ago when the first movie came out. So it should be cool to see what they do with that. On Disney XD, the show Star Wars Rebels is going to be introducing Grand Admiral Thrawn, who first appeared in a novel Heir to the Empire by Timothy Zahn in 1991. He's been part of the expanded universe for several years, and he's been one of the most popular and significant characters in the Legends continuity. So bringing him into the official canon universe of Star Wars Rebels should be cool. We'll see what happens with that when the new third season premieres on September 24th. Last thing I've got today is not strictly animation, but I wanted to bring it up last because it'll be going into our group discussion, is The Get Down. Josh and I have both finished the half season and gotten to see the half season finale, and he said he had some comments on that, so we'll go ahead and open this up for discussion.
It's good.
It's good.
Thank you. Moving on.
Thought provoking.
That's it. That's all I have. Hit the closing music.
All right.
Dun, dun, dun. We're gonna get sued. For using the,
Why so long on The Incredibles 2?
why so long? Because it takes a long time to make a movie.
I guess so.
That's why. Especially an animated movie. The Get Down, the original, they weren't planning for the season to... They weren't planning to just release the first half of the season. So it surprised me that episode 6 of this first half of the season ended with a definitive kind of conclusive ending, because I was under the impression that it was just going to stop, that all the plots were just going to stop. There wasn't going to be a cliffhanger. There wasn't going to be. I was just under the assumption that we were just going to be, here's the end of episode 6. Screw you. Wait till 2017 for episode 7. But they ended the 6-episode run of The Get Down in the most epic way they could possibly, with the most epic rap battle that they've been referencing. The whole show takes place in 1977, so they've been referencing Star Wars throughout the whole show.
Oh, wow.
But they haven't been referencing it heavily. So when they first, the main characters first start their rap battle, they hit the opening theme of Star Wars. And with all of them standing there in front of a wall that's got the Get Down Brothers graffitied on the back of it, and they're all in matching outfits. I don't know where they got the outfits. They're all poor, but they got the outfits somehow.
For a rap battle?
Why are you dancing?
It's
You're horrible.
right, and it's just the most epic thing you've ever seen in your life. They segue from that into a more traditional beat, into a really good song that one of the female characters in the show sang that they incorporated. It's just amazing. And the whole 6 episodes building up to that laid the groundwork so great. Even though they only had 6 episodes, they covered about 12 episodes worth of plot in those 6 episodes. So you felt like you watched about 12 episodes of a show by the time they got to the end of the 6th episode, because it's this giant, all-encompassing story with 400 characters, and each episode was an hour long anyway. So that was fine that it ended up being okay they only released half the season, because I don't know that I would have had the energy to go through a whole 12-episode season of The Get Down.
No.
I could feel all the money they spent by the time episode 6 was over. It felt like a 7-hour multi-million-dollar movie by the time you got to the end of episode 6 anyway. So I may need a year to recover to build up enough strength to watch the rest of season 1.
So for 6 episodes, it felt like you binged like an entire season of, like, say...
Very much, yeah.
The episodes are so long.
They're so long, they're so packed, they cover so much ground, you lose track of what episode you're on.
In an hour?
In an hour. The first episode's an hour and a half. And then every subsequent episode is an hour, but they squeeze 50 plot points in that hour. There's so much going on. By the time you got to the end of episode 2, the two main characters had already been through an entire arc where they didn't like each other, they liked each other again, they didn't like each other again. They went back and forth like 6 times by the time you got to the end of episode 2.
Does it feel too heavy, like, because they did that, where you feel like you've been hammered over the head with so much plot and exposition? It doesn't...
Well, they incorporate so much lighthearted stuff in there with it. It's a really dark show, but it never feels like a dark show. It's a really dark content show, but there's so much music and so much 70s kind of stuff going on that it's such high energy. You never feel the darkness of the show. It never feels that weighty. It's just light, but it's covering. It's kind of a miracle what they pulled off, really.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen several shows in the past that kind of try to do that, and you either wind up getting like so lost in like the story, or like you're like certain characters don't get fleshed out,
Right.
And so that's really interesting that they managed to do that in only 6 episodes.
It's not heavy in a depressing way. It's heavy in kind of it's heavy with the weight of its own world. It's really well developed, and you can really get immersed in it. Once you emerge from it, if you leave your room to get a snack or something after an hour-long episode, you feel like you're re-emerging into your own world. Because you've been entrenched in the 70s for a full hour.
Yeah. So Chris Brown, we go from the get down to the beat down.
Do we believe it?
Do we believe it? How do we not believe a sociopath who beats the living? Who beats the living hell?
But his lawyer is the one that was like, they didn't find any guns or drugs or anything. And
But
it was the damn police report they found confiscated guns.
He's a lawyer, so
Yeah, he's a lawyer. I'm sorry. Yeah, I mean, he might as well be playing the Halloween theme whenever he walks out anywhere.
Terrifying. I'm going to go as Chris Brown for Halloween.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
I mean, hell, it's the most scary thing in the world.
Well, he got really mad about it. He said that, apparently he was recording it himself while the cops were outside his house, and his lawyer had advised him to stay in until they got the search warrant. He was in his house recording, and he posted it somewhere where he said, "This is fucked up, man. And whenever I call the cops because people are harassing me, they never come. But someone calls them about some shit that's fucked up that they said happened over here, and they're over here immediately with guns and all this."
They reported you had a small arsenal. Yes, they're coming with SWAT.
No, because Chris Brown ain't going quietly.
No, hell no.
Yeah,
Waco all over again.
well, I don't know.
What do you know about it? He had a small arsenal.
Well, doesn't it take more than a claim to get arrested? Like, to actually get arrested, which he was?
He beat the living shit out of her.
Okay. Moving on.
Moving on to what?
That was great, though. Also, I wanted to talk about Drake and that him getting
The
robbed.
heist.
Yes. Oh,
They were on stage, and somewhere between 10 and 10:15 p.m., some dude just took a briefcase
I
full
wonder
of jewels.
if it was George Clooney
Full
and
of
Matt Damon.
jewels. What?
Some reports say jewels, some reports say
Brad
jewelry,
Pitt.
and they all say that it didn't belong to Drake. So I don't know who.
Well, then what the hell was he doing with it?
I don't know.
They had a small
Better
Chinese-
question, why the hell did he have it at a concert?
Never hear about any of this stuff in country music. That's all I'm saying.
They had a small Chinese man smuggled in a box.
But once again, you mean, so somebody just strolled casually past security,
I guess.
back to the dressing rooms, walked into his dressing room.
It wasn't
His tour bus.
Into his tour bus. Oh, so nobody noticed a suspicious character around the tour. Where the hell was the bus driver?
I don't know. I don't think any of the stories say.
So
But I mean, we can.
he
leave
might
it
as
to
well
you,
just got the keys to the damn tour bus and drove down the street.
Detective
I mean, the
Everett.
dude's set for life, right? If he can pawn off any of it, $2 to $3 million.
No.
they said.
Don't pawn it. Just melt it down. If there's gold, melt it down.
Yeah.
I was gonna say if it's jewelry, that stuff's probably all marked. And
It's probably all
Yeah.
marked. So just
Good luck.
melt it down.
Good luck. That's all I gotta say.
Well, no, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. If he's already if it's not his, why the hell is he reporting it stolen?
They didn't say whose it was.
So once again,
But
here,
TMZ has a
so
video
just-
of him throwing a fit.
well, $3 million. Yeah, I think I'd throw a fit too. I'd be a little upset, just a little.
He wigged out last week over an $8 pizza. So
Yeah. Because somebody who shall remain anonymous still owes me for that too. By the way.
yeah, I'll
Drake?
maybe Kanye. Drake and Kanye. It's like the access of assholes.
Drake flipped out over a pizza?
What the hell is going on? I mean, we got Suge Knight apparently running people down. Or who was that? Was that Suge?
That was Suge Knight. Yeah, he ran a guy over.
Wow. So,
You don't hear about this stuff in country music.
You really
All
don't.
that
Now that I
stuff.
think about it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, they haven't built their image on being outlaw country. Woo!
Yeah, and they're
No,
all
no,
free.
they haven't built their images on carrying guns, beating the
They're
shit
all-
out of everybody,
They're
beating the
all
shit
free.
out of the people.
They're free as hell. None of them
Yeah.
are in jail. Just saying. Just saying.
You don't hear about Garth Brooks beating the living hell out of somebody in the street.
That's because he keeps that under wraps.
Yeah, Garth Brooks takes care of his shit way, way low key.
This is slander. Hopefully, it's not slander.
I don't think so.
It's not true.
I don't think so.
It's,
But I mean,
it's
next
satire.
time I
There
talk
you
to
go.
Garth,
I'll ask him.
I'll ask him. We
He's
are
an
very
inside
close.
track on that.
So yeah, so Drake. So speaking of Drake, what about Thrawn?
Man.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Rebels, but now just hearing about this makes me want to go watch it. Where can I go watch this?
Disney XD.
Disney
She said
XD, watch cartoon online, we'll have it.
That's
Yeah.
illegal site, but okay.
It's not, it's
Um,
not,
It's not illegal.
if they haven't shut it down yet, it's still
Sure.
there, so.
It's not pirating, it's just sharing, I
It
guess.
exists, therefore
Sure.
it's legal.
Right. Disney XD shows Star Wars Rebels. The new season premieres September 24th.
And all seasons are on DVD by now anyway, so.
Maybe. I don't know if season 2's on DVD or
Well,
not.
definitely season 1 is.
Definitely season 1 is.
I will look for it while we talk.
I don't. It's interesting to me that Thrawn is in the show because I don't. I mean, obviously, people know who Thrawn is are going to watch the show to see Thrawn in it. It's just odd to me that this character that is really popular only existed in the books, and they're putting him on this show that there's probably a lot of kids watching who don't know who he is. So it's just interesting the way they incorporate the stuff from the extended universe. They pick and choose the stuff they want to use and throw out the stuff they don't want to use.
But I mean, if we think about it as far as the rebels are concerned, this is probably the most terrifying threat they could face. Not some, Vader will come directly at you. He's going to try to figure out how to defeat you, make you defeat yourself.
Right.
And Thrawn, on the other hand, well,
It appears that the DVD season 2 was released August 30th this year.
Okay.
So
Oh.
just now.
so great. You can just go
August
buy the first.
30th of
first
this
two-
year?
Mhm.
Okay.
So great. We can just go out and buy the DVDs.
Yeah, the last episode of season 2 is amazing. You get Maul, you get Vader, a lot of stuff going on. And now Thrawn's in there. And the main characters on Rebels are really interesting in and of themselves. It just, they kind of get overshadowed anytime
One of the bigger characters.
Vader shows up or
Well, they were overshadowed
Maul.
by Ahsoka, for God's sake.
Ahsoka, yeah. Who, again, is another extended kind of, not an extended universe character, but a character that only existed in the Clone Wars. So Star Wars Rebels has basically just become the place where they dump popular characters that they don't necessarily want to put in movies. But I really think it's just one step away from those characters appearing in some kind of movies down the road.
Yeah.
There's nothing stopping them from doing it.
Not now, anyway. Especially now they say it's all canon.
Right. So that's exciting. And hopefully Thrawn never runs into Chris Brown.
Yeah.
Or whoever stole that jewelry from
Whoever stole that jewelry from Drake.
Movies and television.
Hello, everyone. This is Josh for Movies and Television. As I said earlier, this was a slow week. So there's some interesting things here that I'm going to get to real quick, and we will mock them appropriately. According to Mel Gibson, Batman vs. Superman is a piece of shit. They interviewed Mel Gibson recently because he's talking about his new film he made with Andrew Garfield called Hacksaw Ridge. And they asked him about the current overspending on blockbusters in Hollywood. And he basically said that they're spending way too much money, and there's no way they could get a return on their investment if they're spending that much money. And then he finally asked the reporter who was talking to him, what did they spend on Batman vs. Superman that they're admitting to? And the reporter told him it was $250 million. And he looked at the reporter and said, yeah, and it's a piece of shit. So the reporter asked him, is there any way you would make a superhero movie in the future? And he said, he quote, I'm not interested in the stuff. Do you know what the difference between real superheroes and comic book superheroes is? Real superheroes didn't wear spandex. So I don't know. Spandex must cost a lot. I just thought that was interesting that Mel Gibson, who really has no reason to piss anybody off even further than he already has, still gives absolutely no fucks and thinks Batman vs. Superman is a piece of shit, like the rest of us. Happy Hogan is coming back for Spider-Man Homecoming. Jon Favreau is going to reprise his role that he last played in Iron Man 3 3 years ago as Tony Stark's butler, driver, Man Friday, Happy Hogan. Apparently, they did not have enough people in Spider-Man Homecoming. The cast is ballooned up to, I think, about 7,500 speaking parts. So they thought they'd squeeze in 30 seconds for Jon Favreau to show up and say some funny stuff and leave. So that's exciting if you're a fan of Jon Favreau saying funny stuff to Robert Downey Jr. Also, in the world of DC Marvel movies, Stan Lee said that he will cameo in any DC movie they ask him to cameo in. Right now, on his docket, he's cameoing in Doctor Strange, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, and Spider-Man Homecoming. Oh, and Thor Ragnarok, and Avengers Infinity War, and Ant-Man and the Wasp, and Captain Marvel. Jeez. So that old man will show up and do anything you ask him to do. In reference to that, he offered his services to DC. He told them, and I quote, "I want to do more cameos also. I've even let people know it doesn't have to be a Marvel movie. I don't know why DC hasn't called me. They could use me." Judging by their box office and Mel Gibson's opinion of their films, he's not wrong. Tremors. If you're a fan of Tremors, the cult classic starring Kevin Bacon and giant worms, they're making an Amazon TV show based on Tremors that Kevin Bacon will star in. So that is on the way. For a long time, Kevin Bacon didn't like Tremors. He thought it was a low point in his career. He's since changed his mind. He now looks on it fondly. He watched it, he said recently, and he thought it was a really good movie. It's hard to do comedy and horror simultaneously, and he said they did that really well. And he's really curious about what this guy would be doing 20 years later. I don't know why he's curious about that. I didn't find his character in Tremors terribly engaging, layered, but apparently he thought it was interesting, so he's coming back to fight worms again. If you're a fan of Kevin Bacon or underground worm monsters, check that out. And finally, I got one quick thing here for TV news. Angela Lansbury, apparently, since she's done solving murders in the real world, has decided to go to Westeros because they're reporting that she's going to film a cameo in the next season of Game of Thrones. I don't know how that's going to work. They don't have typewriters in Westeros, and I don't know that well, if she's telling everyone about murder through Raven, it's going to take a while. I don't understand what she's going to end up doing, but yeah, to prove to people that she's alive, Everett, she's going to be in Game of Thrones so that they can kill her, presumably. And finally, the big story of the week is that it may not even be true, but apparently they're reporting that Sony is offering Daniel Craig $150 million to come back and film 2 more James Bond movies back to back, while they take that time to find his replacement for the film after that. The reason that I say the story is probably not true is because the last time anybody asked Daniel Craig whether or not he wanted to play James Bond again, he replied that he would rather slit his wrist.
Wow.
So I don't know that $150 is worth his life. And I really don't know how, after he was miserable making the last movie, how they're going to talk him into shooting 2 more movies back to back, unless James Bond spends the entire 2 movies sitting at his house on the couch drinking beer and watching soccer. Like, I really don't know what they're going to do to convince Daniel Craig who will be 50, I would say, by the time these movies start filming, how they're going to talk Daniel Craig into coming back to shoot 2 more James Bond movies. I don't know that $150 million is enough. Now, they haven't said that he's taken the offer. And also, Sony doesn't own James Bond. An entirely separate company owns James Bond. Sony just distributes the movies. So I don't know that Sony's in a position to offer Daniel Craig anything. But if you're a fan of Daniel Craig as James Bond, go to, do a crowdfunding thing and try to raise that $150 million and see if you can get him to do it. He doesn't seem like he wants to do it, but if they're holding off on Loki being James Bond, maybe this is their big last desperate play to get him to do it. Hopefully, I kind of hope he does do it, because if he does do it, that means he has a chance to make to end on a good James Bond movie, because Spectre was total crap. And that's my part of the show.
My God,
Discuss.
My God.
$150 million to shoot 2 movies back to back. Yeah, that's insane.
Well, I mean, if you break it down, $75 million a movie, it's probably.
Wouldn't he make more? Wouldn't he make more money on the back end off everything else?
Yep.
It's a nice signing bonus, but if he hates doing the role, I would hate to force him to do it.
Again, Sony doesn't have Eon Pictures owns James Bond. Sony doesn't have the right to offer him anything.
So Sony might be offering him $150 million to not do it.
Well, that's stupid.
And do something for them instead.
But according to the report, and this is from Radar Online, which is a sketchy publication at best. They don't always report the truth. But they're saying that they want a seamless, safe transition from Craig to the next Bond. So they want to do 2 James Bond movies, and then he passes the torch to the next guy. I don't know what that means. What are they going to have the next James Bond in the last movie, and he hands it over? That's never happened.
It's always just been a different guy.
That's always been a different guy. You've had.
How many have we had?
It's ridiculous.
Let's see.
Sean Connery,
Roger Moore, Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah.
Let's see. Daniel Craig, Timothy Dalton.
Oh yeah, that's. So yeah.
He's had he needs to make another one so it can be good, because every even number movie, James Bond movie he's done
has been horrible.
Has been not good, and people haven't liked it. And the odd number ones are the ones that are good. So he needs to make another one. He needs to make one more that's really good, and then another one that's crap, so they'll have a reason to hand it off to the next one.
Yeah, because I mean the last one.
And he needs $150 million to convince him to do it again, because he was miserable.
Who are they trying to get to replace him?
Everybody has been reported.
Everybody who they.
Everybody's been reported. Idris Elba.
Yeah.
God, there's a laundry list. Tom Hiddleston.
Yep.
That would be an interesting Bond.
Charlie Hunnam.
Yeah. Anybody.
Every male British actor between the ages of 20 and 50 has been mentioned as being James Bond.
They might bring Sean Connery back. Say, hey, old man, you still want to do this?
I'd watch that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd watch
old
that.
Bond.
The name is shit. I forgot.
Oh.
He's old.
Yeah, could you imagine though? Benedict Cumberbatch doing
Don't knock it.
Benedict Cumberbatch.
That could be. I could see.
He's
I could
British.
see. I could, especially if.
End of age.
He's like, I'm going to need.
Especially if Doctor Strange does real well. Don't think for 1 second they wouldn't look at him.
Martin Freeman as Q.
Oh Lord.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, man, but yeah, it's nice to see John Favreau coming back though. I did like Happy Hogan, and is he going to do any more directing though?
He directs. He just directed The Jungle Book.
No, I mean, is he?
He's talking about as far as
Marvel movies.
He hasn't ruled it out. The last report was that, he's going to be an executive producer on the new Avengers movies. He wasn't on Age of Ultron. But he's coming back for the new Avengers to be an executive producer.
Thank God.
And he's acting in Spider-Man. I don't think it's outside of the question that we get at least one more Iron Man movie with him directing. I think that's very possible. He's got a good relationship with Disney because he just gave him $1 billion hit that he made in a room.
Yeah.
So it's a good sign, I think.
Yeah, he did.
I just think Robert Downey Jr. got lonely on the set of Spider-Man and he needed a friend.
Yeah. So hey, John, come
on down and fuck around with me on this movie. They'll give you $10 million.
That's probably the worst part of what happened too.
Robert Downey Jr. is going to be in Homecoming.
Oh, for sure.
Everybody's going to be in Homecoming.
Everybody's going to be in Homecoming. The last report was 3 villains, about 10 different high school characters,
oh god,
3 or 4 different teacher characters, Marissa Tomei as Aunt May,
Yeah.
Of course,
We found
he's
a new Uncle Ben to kill off yet, or
he's already dead.
He's
Sunday.
been dead.
Robert Downey Jr., John Favreau. I mean, there's no telling. This is the most. I don't know that Spider-Man's going to be in it. There's not enough time.
Yeah. It's just gonna be like a high school movie. Somebody said it was gonna be like a not Ferris Bueller, but
Breakfast Club.
yeah, one of those.
They're referencing John Hughes a lot.
Yeah.
With it, they're
John
saying
Hughes,
they're making a John Hughes movie with superheroes, basically, which is pretty cool. I like the idea of that.
yeah.
The last report, there's, of course, Michael Keaton's going to play the Vulture, and the last set video or picture said somebody saw something to do with Shocker.
Yeah.
And then somebody else, I forgot who the other villain, the Fiddler, or the Diddler, or what is his name?
Tinker.
The Tinkerer, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. So,
Well, I mean, let's face some of Batman's villains. The
Diddler? Is it Batman villain?
no, I was thinking some of the Batman villains over the years, how they're stupid their names have been.
So that's cool, and it was a slow week.
Yeah.
How long has it been since the last Tremors thing? How many of those did they do?
They just released the Tremors Bloodlines less than 2 months ago.
Oh, so they've been doing like direct to DVD movies.
Direct to sci-fi movies.
What? Yeah, it was direct to video, and then it was direct to sci-fi.
I remember the first.
It's been
Tremors
first
4.
Tremors 1. You had Bacon, Ward, Gross. Then Reba McEntire, a bunch of other fucking.
And then after the first one, Bacon dropped out.
Bacon, then the guy
and went
from,
direct to video.
The guy
So
from
Ward stuck around.
Yeah.
The guy from American Werewolf in Paris was in it.
Sure.
Then Gross came back.
Gross kept coming back.
Yeah, he didn't stop.
And then Gross came back for the third one. The fourth one was like a prequel.
Yeah, fourth one
with Gross as his ancestor fighting back in the past fighting worms. And then the fifth one, Bloodlines, Gross came back.
Jamie Kennedy was in it.
And Jamie Kennedy was in it.
Well.
So they're making this show, and somehow or another they talk Academy Award nominee Kevin Bacon into coming back to do
it's
it.
It's a low point in his career.
He actually likes it now.
Well, he likes it now. Yeah. And he's really curious about what the guy's doing all these years later. I don't know what the hell he
and Tremors was a cult hit more than it was anything else.
I enjoyed it. But I mean, I didn't really...
Directed by the guy who directed City Slickers. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I didn't like it for Kevin Bacon's character. I liked it more for Bert.
Michael. Michael.
Yeah, he was cool.
Yeah, like just the obsessed gun nut just going.
I just always have the image of all of them on the rooftop, so they're building.
Yeah. Oh yeah, just sitting there, just talking to each other, baking in the Arizona sun.
Yeah. So, worms.
Yeah. So when does new TV? When do the new seasons of everything come out? October. Right?
Empire comes back in 2 weeks.
Yay!
Rebels
comes out September 24th.
So we're looking at the last part of September.
And nothing I watch comes back.
NCIS is coming back pretty quick.
All those CW shows that
all the
CW shows will be back.
I saw the new plot line for Supernatural, and my jaw just dropped.
Oh yeah, what was it?
They're fighting Hitler. So
Hitler, you say?
Yeah.
Well, okay.
Supernatural is a zombie in and of itself. That show will not.
This is season what?
That's because
16,
the CW
I think,
season 12.
12. Season
12.
16.
They fought Satan, Ghost.
Found God.
They found God.
They found God, and God went away, and fought God's sister, and just.
They fought Castiel when he turned whatever that one season when he tried to replace God. Although I will say this, Castiel and Crawley are probably the two, they're the two greatest characters in that show.
Oh yeah,
without a doubt.
And how long did that show go before either one of them were introduced?
Castiel I don't think came until season 3. And Crawley I think was season 3 too.
Either at the end of season 3 or season 4. So and I'm really interested to see what the superhero shows because Supergirl's coming to CW, so that's good.
Yeah, they're going long into.
Well,
Superman on there, and
I saw pictures of that.
And then the Flashpoint storyline is influencing
Yeah,
Legends of
season 12 coming
Tomorrow.
up. My
Yeah.
God, 241 episodes.
I can never. So I always. Everybody watches it. There's no way I could get caught up on
What?
Supernatural.
On Supernatural?
I don't have-
It's all
It's
on
on Net-
Netflix.
it's all-
I know it's on Netflix,
But
but
yeah,
I'm not
to sit
watching
there-
240 episodes.
Yeah, and especially since like none of them really kind of tie into each other. They're
When
only,
Supernatural first came on, Angel was on. I was watching Angel
Yeah,
after Supernatural or before Supernatural.
yeah.
And
I
then
had to
Angel
skip
got
like
5
the first.
seasons.
I had to skip
Supernatural
like the
got
first 3 seasons.
14.
Yeah, I had to skip
And
like.
then David Boreanaz left Angel to do Bones for 500 years.
It's still good. The Bones new season's coming soon, too.
No, that's good.
Good.
I mean, you can only watch so many procedurals. They're,
Yeah.
they're all kind of the same.
They need to introduce Hitler.
Oh yeah,
Every show should introduce Hitler.
Oh yeah, that's,
Rebels should introduce Hitler.
Uh,
To fight
is-
Throne.
I was gonna say, isn't that what Throne is?
That's ridiculous. Hitler was
Trying to
blue.
see when Crawley was introduced.
I mean, well, I'm pretty sure it was like season 4 or season 5.
It's a well kept secret.
Yeah, but yeah, he is one of the best, one of the better parts of that show.
Season 5.
Hmm.
He was promoted to a series regular in season 10, but he made several guest appearances since season 5.
Oh yeah.
The show is going to go on forever.
Yeah, and they wanted it to die around season 10, but CW will not let the. It's
No,
like
CW will keep that on
Yeah,
life
CW
support
is
till
just
the
keeping that
end
show
of
on life
fucking
support.
time.
Or
Is it
Jensen
making
Ackles.
that much money?
It's one of their highest rated shows.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Dude, people who are diehard fans
Yeah,
of that
people-
Oh,
are
I know.
diehard,
I
yeah,
know.
diehard.
Like Sons of Anarchy fans.
No, Sons of Anarchy fans finally let it die. I know, I'm
Oh,
a
yeah.
Sons of Anarchy fan, and I finally just
Well,
let
it's
it
not-
go.
I'm sure
Let
Supernatural.
it go.
You
Is
know,
anyone
there's-
ever going to be able to use that phrase ever again? I don't
No.
think so.
No.
That's like who you're going to call.
Oh yeah.
You're never going to be able to use that ever again.
Not after the last movie.
Oh.
That you should let that go.
Never.
Yeah. Anything else?
Anything else?
No,
Going
I
on,
think
Hearts
that's
and
it.
minds.
Going
All
to-
hearts and minds are free. Check us out on Facebook. Check us out on YouTube. Comment, because I really want to do the Everett Reads the Comment thing, and we can't do it if you don't have comments. So,
It will be a very polite
Please.
segment.
comment.
You may or may not get cussed in an angry email.
Maybe.
Angry email.
But that's exciting. Live on the edge. Don't be a wuss.
Well, hold on to that email, and someday it'll be worth something because it came from Everett Brewer himself.
Himself.
Yeah, himself.
That's
As
right.
himself.
The authentic Everett Brewer. The Everett Brewer.
There are no
experience.
substitutes.
There. Thank God. And with that, that will end episode 2. We will see you guys next time.